Devin, is the Datsun a little thicker than usual?
She thick?
Before we get into why that is, guys, we asked for, we didn't hit our like goal last time. We put that 200 mile an hour diff in there, and we're willing to risk our lives for likes. Well, we said what? We would attempt a 200 mile an hour run for 5,000 likes. Well, we didn't get there. So if it's not the 200 miles an hour, will you do it for the dog, maybe? Rosie, you're not even paying attention. What I tell you, we rehearsed this. You were supposed to look at the camera and lick your nose just like that, but you didn't do it on time.
She did it.
What's going on, Team Boosted? Welcome back to another Om606 240Z video. Today, we're gonna be getting it reassembled, ready for driving. Here's an update on the 350Z diff with the Pathfinder gearing. It looks like the axles fit just fine, so we're ready to move forward with that and get it ready for final assembly. We got some expensive seats to mount. We got a wide body kit to install, and
The list goes on.
the list goes on. Our new vinyl should also show up this week. We've chosen a color. You'll probably discover what that is in a few minutes. We gotta take the old vinyl off. It's been on there for almost 3 years now, so it's probably gonna take all the paint with it, and we're gonna have a ton of like sanding and stuff to do. But this is good because we're gonna get the car back and driving, and we have a lot more testing and tuning to do. So let's get started right away. Let's paint some of these parts and put the car back together. So I mentioned a second ago that the axles work fine. It turns out that if we were to hit a jump or something with the Z, we might get some binds all the way loaded up. So what we're gonna do is we only need a tiny bit of space for plunge and the axle. We're just gonna cut out some spacers with the old plasma table. With this shitty laptop that's been run over by several cars but still works. Yo, what brand is this? Shout out LG, let's go. Yeah, that's less than ideal. So essentially, this amount of metal is going to give us that much more plunge in the axle, and we shouldn't bind these motherfuckers up.
And that much less fender clearance.
But we have that wide body kit coming in.
Do they know about that yet?
I kind of briefly mentioned it at the beginning of the video a little bit. So, like so. That's how it do. While we paint and reassemble things with the 240Z, here's something I want you guys to get excited about. If you're new to the channel, this might give you an additional reason to stick around, hit that sub button as soon as we're finished with the Datsun.
And as soon as I'm finished with something.
Yeah, check this out. So this is James's Factory 5 kit. This is for our Supercar in a Box video series that's coming after we're all set with the 240Z. You can see they got this crane that literally lifts the car out. It's probably one of the, I've never seen anything like this. This is so cool.
So on these cars, you can't just go straight off, so you'll have to move it over this way.
So this car is essentially a supercar in a box. It's going to be a rolling chassis pretty soon, and then we got a GT350, the real flat plane Voodoo, not the Illuminator. That's going in this car. There's a lot of awesome stuff. We have all the parts for it. We're just waiting until we have a little bit of space to roll this out, but I hope that you guys are gonna like this one. Okay, so we had a big problem that we were able to actually work our way around using a little bit of knowledge on how Porsches work.
Who thought Porsche knowledge would ever serve anybody in the real world?
So pretty much what we were having an issue with is you'll see we got this axle is a 350Z axle, and this is an S13 subframe. We got it extended all the way up that the wheel's gonna travel, and before we made our modification, the axle was losing plunge, so all axles can like pop in and out because as your suspension travels, the axle effectively grows longer and shorter.
Effectively, we just ruined this axle by taking the inner seal out, and now this cup can go, basically the rose joint can come all the way out on the inside, which isn't a problem until about there.
Which we'll never hit with our level of suspension travel.
So the idea basically is we're gonna pack the output flange full of CV grease and effectively, and probably just put a little bit of
RTB.
flange sealant on there. Anaerobic flange sealant is usually the shit I would use. And effectively this will become our inner seal and give us as much plunge as we need, eliminating the risk of bottoming out the CV. And we'll probably just end up doing that on both sides so we don't need these little spacers.
So pretty much what Sam was talking about is we just removed this. This sits on where that rose joint pops out. We just removed it, and now the stub itself is going to house the grease, kind of how Porsches do it. That's what I meant, Porsche knowledge. We don't know if it's gonna work. You can actually see here this little indent. That's where the joint was hitting when it was bottoming out. And now it'll be able to plunge into the stub itself. Worst that happens is the axle explodes. We don't think we have enough travel for that to happen. We'll find out though. But right now, something super exciting showed up. A big ass box. Let's see what's in that big ass box. Okay, so before we get to what's in this giant box, let's give the people an overview of what we got here. A series of time lapses have culminated to the rear end being put together with the 350Z diff, 350Z axles. Everything's all clean. It's looking really nice. Up towards the front, we have properly secured fuel lines. I know, crazy. And then we've got in our sound deadening mat for the trans tunnel and a little bit more. This has also kind of got like a heat reflecting effect, but we really want it to keep the diesel knock out of the cabin because this is supposed to be nice this time around. We've mentioned the words Widebody in this video a few times. Well, I mean, I guess you could guess that's what's in this box.
What else could be in this box?
I don't know.
Besides maybe an entire another car.
Or a motorcycle or something cool. Okay, so right away you guys are gonna notice before we even take it out of the tape, there's a striking similarity between our kit and the Pandem kit. And we'll talk about that once it's all unboxed. Okay, no one's gonna sit through the bubble wrapping, so we'll get back to you right when we get it all out. Let's talk about the kit for a second. This is from VS Aero. So the reason we chose this, and this isn't a sponsor car, we bought this, is we don't have the time to wait for the Pandem kit. And then even if we did, B is for Bill, I'm sure some of you watch him. He bought one and it didn't fit. So just to buy the Pandem kit for the sake of having a brand name kit is like buying a Gucci shirt for the sake of buying a Gucci shirt, only you know it's not going to fit you before you purchase it and then you buy it anyway.
Yeah, we're not going cloud hunting.
They seem to fit pretty well. So the thing in the front here is we just got to cut way more of the front fender off. The thing it's doing really well is it's lining up to itself very nicely, and a lot of the times with fiberglass kits they don't do that. So we're actually pretty pumped with that. We needed to go this wide in the front and in the back because we have some crazy wheels being made, and we just wanted to go for a look that wasn't as...
And hell, get fender flares that are for the car on it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so we were using Celica flares for the back in the past, and we had these...
Cheapo eBay plastics EGs.
Yes, and now we have a eBay special replica
Still
kit.
cheapo eBay replica kit.
That kind of is still over $1,000. But the Pandem kit's like $4,100,
yeah, I was
I
gonna say
believe.
the Pandem kit's like almost 5 times that. So yeah, this is a budget kit.
Okay, so that's an actual watt, and the reason we can't use these wheels probably is because in the back we have
Oh, I'll show you.
We have multi-link suspension in the back, designed around a modern car. And modern cars typically go for either 0 or positive offset. It's not that offensive, but even with this giant flare, it still pokes out.
I mean, yeah, it's like an inch.
Some hot boy camber would fix that, but we're kind of not about that. So guys, at this point, the next step is to put the wheels on the car and get it actually rolling so we could properly fit the wide body kit and mock it up and see how well it actually fits. We don't know. It might be deceivingly fitting good right now, but there's one more thing I wanted to show you guys before we get to that stage, and that's our new gauges showed up. And some of you will remember the video where we mentioned we are working with Speed Hut, so these are a sponsor provided part, and I'm gonna go over them one by one real quick. And there's going to be like a way more detailed video, installation, all that coming. But for right now, I just wanted to mention that they are here. This is the GPS Speedo. What's cool about this is you just connect it to the GPS unit they include. Super easy to hook up. It also has integrated fuel. blinker indicators, and high beam, I believe. So it's going to give it a little bit more of a modern feel. We've been pushing for that. Something super European that we did is a little bit of a red on the tachometer when the rest of them are black. These are cool too because they have warning lights, and you can set all sorts of levels for this. What you can do when you order from Speed Hut is literally customize just about everything. You could add your logo to the gauges. You can choose a bunch of different colors for the face, the needles, what color it glows at night. It's actually pretty crazy how much you can customize. Something cool that Speed Hut does. Anyways, here's unique to our diesel build. This is the EGT, exhaust gas temperature gauge. Very important to make sure that we're not melting our engine. Very nice. Water temp, self-explanatory. It's a nice water temp gauge, but it is just a water temp gauge. 60 PSI boost gauge, because we're going to be hitting levels over 40 sometimes. Maybe not 60, but definitely more than 30. Oil pressure. You always want to know if you have it. So anyways, there's going to be a way more detailed video on these gauges coming up in the future, but for right now, we're going to be properly fitting that wide body kit because, oh, we also have to put the freaking engine in. So let's do that first. Oh, big shout out to Luke from Diesel Pump UK for replacing the clutch that was definitely a manufacturer's defect. Rivet came out of it, and that's why it exploded. Although we'd like to say it's from our massive diesel torque, that's actually not the case. Judged it before I tried it. Okay, so we're going to go as far as to actually screw on in a few places. The front looks like it's fitting good enough where the bolt holes were confident enough in their locations to actually give it a go. So we've moved the car towards this side of the garage because now there's not a lot we have to do with the underside of it. Oh wait, you guys complained that the dog was not pet. Yes. That's a good dog.
Such a good baby.
She just looks like that.
Let's see what we can do. We've already cut away most of the fender that we need to. So you can see there's a ginormous hole in it.
It looks juicy over there. That cut looks...
So that's the bad thing about those auto snippers, is they grab the metal a little bit. It's got this wave. Doesn't really matter for us because, I mean, these fenders are absolutely enormous.
Yeah, and the flares literally cover that plus like an extra 6 inches like all around. So.
Okay, so we're obviously gonna try harder than this, but I want to show you guys the magic that is the fender welting. This is necessary coming from the world of Porsches, at least in our experience, because we're not good at bodywork. But you'll see this gap right here looks like absolute dog shit. You would just pretty much make cutouts for the bolt holes and do that along the whole thing, and then you get your nice, you can't even tell that it doesn't fit like shit.
We're gonna do a little bit of body work to get it a little bit more precise before covering it all up with fender welting.
This side seems to be fitting like the other side does.
Well, I mean, you could see just the defects in fiberglass stuff. Like, it's inevitable that you're not gonna get a perfect seam.
I just stepped on your tail and you didn't even react. Why are you so weird? Rosie, why are you so weird?
Good girl. Who's your good girl? Who's your good girl? Okay, this fiberglass guy, so go away.
Come here. Come here. Sit down. More unboxing for y'all. It's a really glittery, like gunmetal gray. That's almost black in the shadow, so this will be really cool. But yeah, the whole car is gonna be that with some bronze wheels. And the wide body, boy. Once again, we have our work cut out for us. The engine and trans is back in, so we're gonna be focusing on getting the wide body bolted on and then get the car running. And then we have a absolute ton of work to do with the interior. But the car is coming out really cool, and we're excited to have it running again because we missed driving it. And we don't know what that 2.9 to 1 ratio diff does. I mean, it's obviously going to give us more gear speed, but it's probably going to feel like an entirely different car. So we got a lot to look forward to. We have a lot of work to do. That's really it for this. Dem's going to pick a winner for the video giveaway. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we give products away from boostedshades.com every single video. Even if you don't win, that's actually a great way to support us, besides liking and subbing, is checking out boostedshades.com, even if you don't win.
This video's winner is the one-eyebrowed wonder.
Is it true? Is there only one? You can hit us up at teamboosted@boostedshades.com or through any of our social media platforms. We'll get back to you and ship you something. If you guys want to win, all you got to do is like, sub, and leave a comment. The comment could be anything, but we ask you guys stuff to make commenting a little bit easier. This video's question, you obviously saw the Daytona in this video make an appearance. If you could put any engine into that, what would you choose? We've obviously chosen the GT350, but anything's on the table. So what would you stick in that if it was your build?
As always, thanks for watching. Next time.